Hi everyone, this is LeetCode problem number 443, string compression. Also happens to be the 9th problem in our LeetCode 75 series. So in this you are given an array of characters, and what you are supposed to do is that you're supposed to compress them and return the length of the compressed string, or compressed array length. So let's say if I have a 2 times, I'm gonna compress it by storing the character and its length. Like a appears 2 times, I'm gonna write a and then 2. Then we have b, I'm gonna write character b and I'm gonna write how many times it appears. So I'm gonna write b2. Again I'm gonna write character c and write how many times it is present in this array of characters. It is present 3 times. Now this is my new array of characters and I am supposed to return the length of it. Now length of this is nothing but 6, and 6 would be my answer. So now what happens? Okay, so this is fairly simple. Now we're gonna see how to solve it, right? Like how we could code through it. Also one thing that is mentioned is that if we have something like 11 times, I'm not gonna do double quotation because it's too much. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So let's say if this digit count is, so let's say now count as 3, so I can just write 3 as it is. But if I have 10 or if I have 11 or something, let's say how many times b was present, 12 times, right? So I cannot write this and return length 2. This is wrong. What I'm supposed to do is that I'll have to write b and I'll have to write 1 and I'll have to write 2. So I'm supposed to break down this count also in string and again like have one character in the array, and then I'll return the length of the array as 3, and this is my right answer. Okay, so yep, this was about discussing the test cases that we could have, and because we are not allowed to use an extra array, we are supposed to solve it in, like, we are only supposed to modify the input array and we cannot create new array, right? So we'll modify this array and we will be storing our result in the same array. Okay, so let's have a write pointer so that whenever we have output we will write here. Okay, now let's store our length of characters, which is nothing but n. We have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Now my array of characters has length 7, and for reading I'm gonna have another pointer. I'm gonna call it read, and I will have another pointer called start, which will be pointing to read. So let's say I will start reading from here. Okay, I will read until and unless I reach the end of the array or I find a different set of character. So let me write this condition here in the corner so that I can just look up to it again and again and not get confused. So if my read is less than n and my characters, my char at read is equal to the assigned character, I'm gonna go ahead and keep having read plus plus. So once I have that, I can store the count. Let me just say my count would be nothing but wherever I reach minus from where I had started. Okay, so let's do the reading part first, and then when we come to the output we will take care of that. So now my read is pointing to 0, my start is also pointing to 0. I will assign my character over here, so I'm gonna assign my ch. When I start my for loop, I will have it here. Okay, so now read is at 0. I'm gonna assign my ch, my character, as A because that's what char's read is. Now my read is less than n. Yes, it is. Now my char's read is equals to ch. Yes, it is. So I'm gonna do read plus plus. My read comes here. This becomes 1. Okay. Now my read is less than n. Yes. And characters dot read is equals to ch. Yes, it is. Then I'm again gonna do read plus plus. So my read is currently pointing to 2, like it's at indices 2. Now again, my read is less than n. Yes, but my character, now this condition does not satisfy. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come to the count and I'm gonna have count is equals to nothing but read minus start. We started with 0. So which is exactly the number of times I have a present in my array, right? So now what I'm gonna do, since I have found that a is present 2 times, I'm gonna store it. So while storing it, what I'm gonna say, this character which I have at right index, chars, let me just call it. Okay, so whatever character I have, I'm gonna write it at my right index. So my right index is nothing but pointing at this, and then I'm gonna just do right plus plus. I can just do plus plus over here. Okay, that means now my right is pointing here. So let's say it was pointing at 0, now it is pointing at 1. Okay, this is cool. Okay, so now that I have already written the character, my next job is to write the count, right? Because that's what we had done. Like if we remember, our resulting array of characters was this, right? So we are trying to reach there, and I'll just write, okay. Yeah, our resulting array of characters was this, and we are trying to reach there. So now that we have written the character, we are done with this part. Now we are supposed to write the count, the number of time it counts. So one thing is very easy, right? If my, okay, so first thing, like obviously I have to convert it into, see, unless we have it only once, we can just write a and we can forget about it and we can move on to the next character. But if my count is greater than 1, then what I'm supposed to do is that I will change it to the string, right? Like if I had 12, I will change that count into the string format, and for each character, like for each digit actually, for each d in this, let me call this for each count in, okay, x, for each digit in x, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna write that digit and then I'm gonna do write plus plus. Okay, so now I know that my count is greater than, okay, so yeah, I know my count is greater than 1, so I'm gonna convert it to the string format and I'm gonna write this digit. Okay, yeah, like I'm gonna, like whatever digit I have in x, which is nothing but 2, so for this digit I'm gonna write over here. So this will come, I'm writing this d digit in my char right, and right was nothing but this is char of 1. So basically at char of 1 I'm supposed to write d, which is nothing but 2, and then I'm supposed to do write plus plus. Okay, so right now we are here and we're supposed to do write plus plus. That means write is now pointing to this. Okay, now, so yeah, so we read the characters, we read the number of time it comes, we wrote both the characters and its count. Okay, now we will, like obviously now my read is at b, and again I'm supposed to do the same thing what we had done with a. So now my character, my char at, so this is basically nothing but chars at 2 is nothing but b. I'm gonna assign it to b. My read is pointing to 2, it is less than n, and my b is equals to the character which is assigned currently b. Yes, so I'm gonna do read plus plus. My read comes here. Also my start we had set up in this, like, so my start will be equal to 2. Okay, so whenever I'm starting a new loop, I am gonna set my start equals to the read. Okay, so again, is my read is pointing at 3, my read is less than n. Yes, it is. Character at read is equals to the b, like is equals to ch, what was assigned. Yes, so I'm gonna do b plus plus. Okay, now my read is pointing at this and it is here. Cool. Now my read is still, okay, let me just change the pen. My read is still less than n. My character at read is not equals to chs, so we're gonna come out of the loop, and again I will have, let me just change the pen for this character. Okay, so I'm using blue. Okay, so now my count is nothing but read minus start. My read is pointing to 4, my start was 2, the length, the count is 2. Now we know since the count is 2, first what I'll do, first I'll write my character like we had done the last time. So my character at right, now I know that my right is pointing at this b. Okay, so I'm gonna do char at right and I'm gonna do right plus plus. I'll write b and my right was pointing to this. Now once I have written this, I'm gonna do right plus plus, so my right comes here 3. Okay, now we know that count is greater than, once I've written the character, now my job is to write the count, like how many times this character comes. Now I know that my count is greater than 1. Same, I'm gonna convert the count to string format, and for each character that I have in this count or x, I'm gonna write it at the right index and then I'm gonna do right plus plus. So this comes 2 times. I will write this off and then I'll do right plus plus. So which means my right is now pointing over here. This is 4. Okay, 0 1 2 3 4. Yes, I am correct. Now I have written it. Now I'm gonna move to the next loop. Okay, so now I know, let me just write it. My right is pointing here, my read is pointing over here, and I know my start points to, like, whenever I start the loop, my start points to wherever my read is. So my read is at 4. Okay, now let's start it. So let me just, okay, fine, let it be. So now I'm gonna assign the character. So my c will be nothing but char at read. Chars at read is nothing but at 4 is nothing but equal to c. So my current character is c. So my read is less than n. Yes, it is, because it is 4, right? And now my chars of read is c. Yes, I'm gonna do read plus plus. So this is gonna become 5. My read is gonna be pointing over here. Cool. Again, my read is less than n. N is nothing but 7. Yes, 5 is less than 7. Cool. So again, my character what I'm reading is equals to c. So I'm gonna do read plus plus. So this is, yeah, this was pointing here. I'll do plus plus and this will become 6, right? Yeah, again, so read is less than, so currently I'm at 6 and it is less than 7. Yes, it is, and my character at read is equals to the current character. So yes, I'm again gonna do read plus plus. This will become 7. My read is currently here, which is fine, it is outside. My read is 7. Now is 7 less than 7? No, it is not. So we'll come out of the loop. Now my count is nothing but read, which is pointing at 7, minus start. Where was the start? At 4. So now my current count is 3. Okay, so nice. Now we have found the, like, next character which was consecutively repeating, and we have found the count of it. Now we know that we will write it. So at chars of right, now we know chars of right is pointing at 4. So 0 0 1 2 3, and at 4th index we are gonna write c, And now we have to take care of the count. Again, we know that the count is 3. We are going to convert it to the string, and for each character in this 3, we will write it to that, which is nothing but, chars of write. And we had done the write plus plus. This I forgot to do. Write plus plus, my write is pointing over here, and I will sorry, the 5 was it. I'm gonna assign the value of count 3, and again I'm gonna do write plus plus. My write will be pointing over here, which is nothing but 6. Okay, so this is where my read is pointing, this is where my write is pointing. Okay, now any which ways will not go to the next loop, because for going inside the loop my read should be less than n, which it is not. That means we have iterated through the entire string, which was that was given to us. And this is my resulting string, which is same as what we had come across when we started with this, right? So now what I can do is, as a result, I can return my write pointer, right? Because whatever we had written, like that, wherever the write is pointing, that would be the length of it, right? So let's say my write is currently pointing at 6. Let me just come up with, my write is pointing at 6, and that is the length that I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can return my write, and that will be my answer. Okay, so that's it about this problem. I hope that we understand and get a better understanding of this while coding. So let's code now. Okay, so we had started with 2 pointers. One was write pointer, where we will be writing the output character. We will start with write pointing to 0, and let's initialize n to the size of the character array that we are given. So chars.size would be equal to n. Now what are we gonna do is that we are gonna have read integer, or let's say read iterator, with the help of which we will be iterating through the array and reading the characters and the count of the characters. Now if you notice here, I am not writing or incrementing read, or not writing read plus plus, because we will be manually incrementing the value of read in this block. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna read my first character. Let's call it ch. Okay, and just so that I could count the number of times this particular character repeated, I am gonna have a start, and I'm gonna initialize my read to start, and I will write a while loop inside and say I will keep incrementing my read until and unless I reach the end of the array, and my character at read is equal to ch, which is what is assigned here. So till these characters are equal, I'm gonna keep incrementing read. Once I have incremented, so let's say this a came 2 times, my read pointer will increment, and then that would be my count, right? So I'll say ki my count is nothing but currently where my read is pointing at minus start. So this is the number of times a character has appeared. Now that I have counted it, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna write to it. Now since I have to modify the existing array, now I'm gonna write to it what I will be writing. So at chars.write pointer, I'm gonna write my ch, I'm gonna write my current character, and I'm gonna do plus plus. Now I'll also have to write the count of it, right? Now if my count is greater than or equal, greater than 1, what I'm gonna do is that first I'll have to convert the count to string. So I am gonna do this conversion. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna convert it to string, and once it is converted to string, for every character in my string, I'm gonna do chars, right? I'm gonna write my character and I'm gonna do write plus plus. Okay, and yep, so what did I do? I first read the character, how many times it is repeating, I counted that. Then I wrote it in my array, and then I also need to add this. I also wrote the number of times it appeared, right? Now, like we had decided, what would be my output? My output would be nothing but where my right pointer is pointing to, correct? So yeah, that's it. Let's try run and see it. Okay, so all the test cases are passing. Let's try submitting it. Okay, yep. So this is submitted. It's passing all the test cases. Thank you everyone for watching.